Hi, well, welcome to another episode all about burnout. Now, we spoke last week about burnout and how burnout is so easy to be part in it because it's not an actual physical destination, it's a journey. And so many of us start the journey and we're somewhere along those 12 stages of burnout, which I spoke to you about last week. What we're seeing here is that it's easy. And unless we take stock of where we are unless we stop and think, this isn't serving me. So burnout ends up being a series of non-serving habits that don't serve us, that we end up just repeating. And before we know it, we go through those 12 stages of burnout. So when we look at stage 4, because in the first week we looked at stages 1 to 3. Stage 4 is when we actually avoid conflict. So we don't negotiate, we don't discuss, we don't disagree. Sometimes we just go with the flow. And because it takes energy to be in conflict. Also remember that conflict is not always bad. Sometimes conflict can be good. But if we just give into, accept, just like whatever the agenda is, we'll just sign up for the agenda and off we go. You find that is stage 4. Now, although we're talking about these stages, remember that burnout is very much like grief in that it's not just linear. Okay, we've done this stage, we've done that stage, we've done the next stage. And they don't necessarily follow on the same in each person. So you might think, no, I didn't do this one, and you're in this stage. But it's also understanding that it's just a framework for us to help us understand of what's happening and to maybe identify and recognize yourself in it. So stage 4, that whole thing of you avoiding conflict. You no longer negotiate, you don't discuss, you don't talk about, you just, maybe you don't even nod. Okay. And then with that comes the shift in values, where you may have fiercely fought for something, or you might have decided that it's very important that you spend time with your friends, or it's very important that you spend time with your family, or you have always said, okay, we need a certain standard of report or a certain standard of, okay. And with that, your whole values, what's important to you, what you're passionate about, slowly starts to change. They start to erode, they swap over. And you find yourself saying things like, well, it's not so important to see friends on Friday night anyway, because I've got all these reports to do, I've got all these things to finish, and I need to get through it. So think about, take stock. Reflection is so important, but we've got to get off the hamster wheel to be able to reflect, to ask yourself, what's changed in your life? What was important last year, last month, 6 months ago? And you finally is like, oh, well, let it go. And then, of course, with these, in that first section as well, with stage 3, where we're letting go of who we are, we stop prioritizing our own needs. What you're also finding with that comes the frustration and the irritability and, um, also resentment sometimes of saying, okay, why am I not important anymore? And often maybe blaming other people of like suddenly you're not a stakeholder in your own life. And yeah, sometimes when you look at the ladder of accountability, it could be easy to blame other people for the fact that you aren't a stakeholder in your own life anymore. But where's your part in it? Where are your choices of saying, oh, I need to prioritize this, I need to this, not seeing friends anymore, not like whatever. But of course, that irritability and that change in behavior becomes very apparent. Maybe not to you, because of course we're on that hamster wheel and not realizing, oh, when did I become this grumpy, horrible person? When did I become irritated? When did I become non-communicative? So, like in every week, if you recognize yourself in this and you wanting to reach out, please do. We have a 30-minute complimentary discovery call, and we can see how coaching can help you. Please also remember that you're loved, you matter, and you're not alone. And I'm Colleen Quist. And we'll see you next week.